guys, it's Jay. I'm in the newsroom here at work this week for the blog, and it's been, a busy one. Dr. Coburn was in town back on Monday, and he was on the early show Monday morning with me, Nikki, and Jay, and we had a great conversation really about my progress and about how I've been getting along and how this whole journey has shaped up for me. Obviously, by the scale standard, I'm doing okay. I'm heading for almost 120 pounds lost now. Since the first week of March, but there is a lot more to living this lifestyle in a very healthy way. So it's great to make sure that I kind of have all of my bases covered and that I'm doing that well. So he had very nice things to say about my progress when he was in town, and that was fantastic. And it was great to finally get him on the show in person and have him share some more information about the lap band with all of you out there who were listening. While he was in town on Monday as well, something big happened, not just for me, but for anyone living in Cape Breton who has the lap band or who's thinking of getting the lap band. In the first year, the average patient has 4 or 5, possibly even 6 lap band adjustments. That's where they change the amount of fluid that's in the ring itself that goes around the top of the stomach, and they do that through an access port that's stitched to the muscle, your ab muscle, under the skin and under the fat. So they take a needle and they inject in. In fact, when Dr. Coburn was in town, on Tuesday I uploaded a video showing what an adjustment looks like. When he was here, he trained a local family doctor, my family doctor actually, Dr. Carol Bootlier out of the Sterling Medical Clinic in the Sterling Mall in Glace Bay. She's now trained to do lap band adjustments herself. And what that means for me and for other lap band patients is that we no longer have to travel to Halifax to have those adjustments done. So that's fantastic news, and I think will help some people make the decision to get the band, because honestly, traveling to Halifax, and there were some patients who chose to travel to Moncton to have the fill done. When you need a fill, or when you want a fill, when you hit a plateau in weight loss, or you need that that extra fill to help you get to the next stage of your loss. You don't want things like cost or travel or anything like that to get in your way. So knowing now that that can be done in Glace Bay by a local doctor, that's fantastic. So a huge thanks to Dr. Carol Bootlier and her staff for taking that on. It means a lot to us patients living here in Cape Breton. And then, of course, the real reason Dr. Coburn was in town was so we could host a public information session, which we did at the Cambridge Suites back on Monday night. And I have to tell you, we asked people to RSVP initially. And, it looked like we were going to get maybe 12 people out to it. And that was fantastic, especially if they were the right 12 people. We wanted people in the room who are kind of where I was back in March, where you knew that you were in over your head with this a little bit, where, you're just ready for a change, right? Where you're tired of the way things have been. You're tired of the life that you've settled for, and you're tired of the body and the health that you had accepted as being what you would have until the day you died. And we wanted people in the room who were interested in making that change and finding out new ways to support that. And this lap band is certainly a huge part of that. But also, I had said that I really felt it was important that anyone with weight issues come and be in that room, because hearing Dr. Coburn speak about obesity, about how it happens, about the mental and the thought process that puts you there in the first place and then locks you there and keeps you there. Hearing him talk about that really changed the way that I looked at me and the choices that I was making in advance of my decision to have the lap band procedure. But also, it let me off the hook in a big way. It got rid of a lot of that guilt I felt, because as a guy who was weighing 460 pounds, I was responsible for every bite of food that led to every one of those pounds being on me. So, I didn't feel like it was appropriate to hang my head in shame and cry and say, how did this happen to me? Like, I didn't think it was right to act like a victim. And not that Dr. Coburn gives anyone permission to be a victim, because a big part of this is taking responsibility. But he does have some interesting things to say. We've all been raised and taught that diet and exercise are enough to turn it around. Diet and exercise will help you maintain health. Diet and exercise alone are very, very poor tools to regain health when you have dramatically stepped away from it. And 460 pounds for me with a BMI of 60, that was a pretty dramatic step. So it would take a serious intervention. So for those of us who were very large, who set out many times before and wondered why we always failed, it was because we were following the rules that were meant for people to maintain health or to bring people who have only slightly strayed from the path of healthiness back on track. When you're setting out to lose more than 200 pounds, what Dr. Coburn says is that his research, his studies, and his experience with more than 4,000 obese patients, all of that says to him that that's just not true, that it takes more than diet and exercise to retrain the body. And I fully subscribe to that. I really do believe that. What Dr. Coburn has to say about exercise and the role that it plays, I think is really important, which is that I don't go to the gym to see the loss on the scale. It's not about that. The band takes care of the weight. I go to the gym, and I'm committed now to exercising because it's daily challenges. It's a daily chance for me to improve. It's a chance for me to set a new goal and to get better at something and to see those milestones along the way. Every day that I'm in the gym, or every day that I go out for a walk that's a little bit longer or at a faster pace, or every day that I'm able to keep my heart rate at a higher rate and sustain it there for a longer period of time, I know that I'm one step closer to health in each of those challenges. And I find that the workouts are a great way of measuring that, and certainly they do it in a way that the scale can't. And Dr. Coburn makes that distinction, and I think that's really important. But what I really want to say about Monday night is a huge thank you to the over 50 people who showed up to hear it. Now, some of us were patients already. Some of us sitting there had the lap band. But a great number of people showed up to hear more about the procedure, to meet Dr. Coburn, to schedule their own consultations with him, to ask questions. I had the chance to speak and to answer questions from the crowd as well. And, really intelligent questions about, real choices. Life after the ban. What's it look like? What are the choices you get to make? How dramatically different is your diet? How dramatically different is your lifestyle? It kind of refocused me on exactly how different things are for me now compared to the way they were just over 100 days ago when I started all of this. But the really interesting thing that I got out of Monday night was a greater perspective on some of the stories that I've been getting. A lot of you are like the page on Facebook, Big Deal's Weight Loss Challenge. And through that page, I've heard a lot of your stories, a lot of your struggles, health, family, social, all of that stuff, and how your obesity has impacted that, and how all of that has impacted your obesity. And, what was great about Monday night was finally getting to meet you, to putting faces to those stories, and to getting to know you as more than that, right? Because that's been the biggest challenge in this, is that as people tell me their stories, fat wasn't the only thing I was. Even when I was at my biggest, there was still a whole lot more to me than that. And I want to make sure that the people that I meet through this process, that I constantly remember that about them as well. We aren't our problem. Someone who's a diabetic isn't just the diabetes. It's the same thing with obesity. There's so much more. So it was great to hear about your families. It was great to hear about where you work. It was great to hear about the support network that you're building up around you as you start this whole thing. So again, just a chance this week to say thank you to everyone who came out on Monday and everyone who helped make Dr. Coburn's trip to Cape Breton a success. He went back, I believe, energized about our little program here and what we've set out to do. And I'm hopeful that his visit helped us accomplish one more thing that we kind of got into this for, and my real interest, which is sparking that discussion here in Cape Breton about obesity, a problem that is in front of us so much that we barely even see it anymore, and that we are more prone to see in other people than we are in ourselves. So hopefully we move that along a little bit this week as well. So again, a big thank you to everybody who came out, a big thank you to everyone who listened to him while he was on. If you want to hear the interview that we did with him on Monday morning, you can check it out on the Facebook page. If you want to hear a bit of an interview I did with him after the session at the Cambridge Suites on Monday night, you can check that out in a blog post, a special post that went up on Monday night. And if you want to see the lap band adjustment as well, check out that same blog that was posted on Tuesday of this week. All right, I'll meet you back here again next Friday.